From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you to this Thursday's edition of For the People. It's August the 17th, 2017, and our first story, what are we going to talk about? Something that no parent would ever want to endure. And how can we forget Natalie Holloway? Yep, she's back in the news, and her dad has never stopped looking for her since she disappeared 12 years ago, 2005. Can you believe that? I mean, time really flies. And I mean, they have tried to find this young lady to find out what happened. Some people thought that she was fed to the fish. You remember Vandersloot? You know, he's in prison, serving a 28-year sentence in Peru for killing a business student. Remember Stephanie Flores? Oddly enough, that murder came 5 years to the day after Natalie's disappearance. Everybody thought, but they could not find the body, and they're thinking that they might have a body. Now, can you imagine? I'm a parent. I just could not imagine. But you can't sleep. I would think that it would be so difficult because you can't lay to rest, and you don't know, that foul play happened, but you weren't able to, one, bury her properly, bring her back home, and to really figure out exactly what happened to her. The dad's been trying to do this ever since. 12 years of searching. The father of Natalie Holloway is what we're talking about, the American woman who vanished in Aruba. And it was all on the news. You couldn't escape it. If you've never heard it before, you must have lived under a rock for the last 12 years. Dave Holloway's the dad. He's been working with an investigator, TJ Ward. They were being interviewed on NBC's Today Show that following a renewed 18-month probe, the remains that they dug up in a backyard to see if they are a match with Alabama 18-year-old who disappeared while on graduation trip in 2005. The DNA test will take several weeks to a month. So this is brand new stuff, folks. Brand new. And the dad, the parents of Natalie have not given up. Now, the dad and Ward and Dave Holloway are taking part in a new TV series. It's called The Disappearance of Natalie Holloway. The whole story. And it's premiering this weekend on the Oxygen Network. So I guess they will have the results somewhere in one of those episodes on the Oxygen Network. So if you've been following all of this, all of the news of the Holloway disappearance and all that stuff, well, be interesting to see what in the world happened. It's believed, though, that Jordan Vandersloot, a Dutch man, was the one responsible for killing Natalie. But again, they weren't able to pin it on him. And then he killed somebody else. I mean, folks, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be able to figure that one out. But again, if you don't have any DNA, you don't have any proof, and his story, it was pretty sound, and nobody was talking. But I think an O.J. Karma thing happened. He got busted killing another young lady. And 28 years. Wow. And she was beautiful. I mean, how twisted can you get? Sad. She had been in her 30s. Young teen. Just it's a sad, tragic loss of life. No wonder parents are so protective of their kids. I used to think, oh my God, parents are so overly protective, especially and there's a certain degree where, come on, they go out the door, you just pray, you pray for them. It's all you can do. I mean, it's just bad things do happen. They do. You want to talk about a bad thing? Border Patrol has their their job cut out for them. They witness a lot of things, and their job as a Border Patrol individual is to crack down on illegals coming across the border, etc. Well, a Vermont man, his alleged weapon of choice during an argument about immigration enforcement with a U.S. Custom and Border Protection agent was something that fertilizes farmland. It fertilizes your tomatoes. Manure, liquid manure. Mark Johnson, who says his livelihood in agriculture has been nearly ruined. These are his words, Mark Johnson, up there in Vermont. Been ruined by illegal immigrants working on local farms, is accused of spraying a Border Patrol vehicle with manure on August 3rd at the edge of a farm field about 2 miles south of the Canadian border. And he is due in court Thursday in North Hero to answer charges of assault and disorderly conduct. The Border Patrol, the sheriff, state police, game wardens can't go onto the farms, Johnson said. He told the Associated Press that he asked the Border Patrol why authorities were not doing more, and he didn't like the answer. He says, I used to go to all these farms, spread liquid manure to help them with chopping and everything else, he said. Then the illegals started coming in more and more and more, and every time I see the Border Patrol, I stop and ask them, can you please do something about it? The Islander reported the Border Patrol agent said Johnson became very agitated, and he figured he would get out of the way so Johnson could resume spreading manure on the field. The officer said in police documents he thinks Johnson tried to spray the cruiser twice, but missed the first time, and the second time, the entire right side of the vehicle was covered with manure. Do you not feel this guy's pain? Mark Johnson making his living in agriculture, just trying to make a living. And I think he's got a point, but these border patrols are not able to legally, they can't go on the farms. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this picture? It would be nice to get the president involved with this one. But more protection. Once they're on the farms, I guess you're on private property. Immigration, they can't go on there and they can't arrest them. They just take the jobs. And this guy's frustrated because he can't do his job anymore because they're doing it. Well, it's not just farming, but farming is a big, big part of our country. And it's happening all over the place. It's not just there in Vermont, folks, as you know. But I just thought it was kind of funny when I heard that he was spraying the cruiser with manure. Just frustrated, and it's understandable. So he's going to go to court. We'll see what happens. I mean, again, he just tried to spray the cruiser twice, missed, got it one time, the entire right side covered with poop, manure, and he just says he's been very outspoken about this. I like what he says. He says he's seen a number of Border Patrol agents parked at different times near where he was spreading manure on August 3rd, acknowledged he spoke to one of them about his frustration, but thought the agent had left when he turned on the spreader. He said he didn't realize what had happened until the sheriff's department arrived an hour or so later and cited him. This is what he's saying. I mean, it sounds good. I mean, is it possible? I thought I was far enough around him, he says. I splashed him, Johnson told the Islander, the local newspaper. Department of Homeland Security, I thought that was supposed to protect us. How secure do you think I feel with what I have seen? I think it's pretty outrageous behavior for anybody to initially spray manure on anybody or anybody's property is just wrong. Johnson said he struggles to keep his business going, but that farmers with illegal immigrants are able to do it better because they don't have to pay a proper wage. He says, I have lost everything because of illegals. I am not the only one that feels it this way. It's very, very sad. Many Vermont farmers rely on immigrant workers, some of whom are believed to be in the country illegally, Johnson said. He would represent himself in court on Thursday. Today, he's going to court. We'll find out what happens. Frustrating. American jobs, those American citizens, you and I, trying to go to work, do a job, and you get illegals that are protected, doing a job that we once did. It's been allowed. California loves to do it. They've been doing it for a long time, better than anybody. But all the way up in Vermont, even if he did deliberately spray, he's frustrated, he's upset. It's like, you guys you're morons. What are you protecting? You're protecting nobody. These people are on the farms, they're illegal. One thing if you're illegal, but some people have added, if it wasn't for the illegal immigrants, who else would actually do those jobs? A lot of people say that there's just not enough workers, so that's why they're actually forced into. And, I think to a large degree, there's a lot of people that complain there's no work. And there is work. It's just not the kind of work that they want. I think a lot of Americans have become lazy. Lazy. You heard right. Lazy. There's work. There's work. It's just not the kind of work that they want at the moment. And it's caused this problem for people to be able to do this. And yes, they look the other way because we want fruits, we want vegetables, and we want it at a reasonable price. And if we crack down on them, then we're going to have, $10 corn. We don't want that. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You're either going to enforce it, and you're going to do it right, pay more, and then eventually the prices go down. But if you're not hungry, and it's so easy to get on the dole, which a lot of people are, and that's the frustration and anger of many people that are conservative, like myself, frustrated that it's so easy for people to be able to get on the welfare cycle and be able to get these benefits, and they really just don't have much incentive to be able to go out and do any better because there's really nothing better out there than what they have right now given by the government. So what incentive do they really have? And from their vantage, you have to understand it because really, interim jobs starting at $10.50 an hour, $8 an hour in this economy is not cracking it. What can you get for $10 at the grocery store? Have you shopped lately? Even if you go to Safeway or you go to Walmart with $10, what do you get? Oh, you can buy some rice, you can buy some beans. There you go. A lot of people don't like just rice and beans. They like a little bit more with that. Thank you very much. But you get more than rice and beans when you sign up for those coupones, as the Spanish folks call them, or those food stamps. You can get meat, a lot of it, well fed. A lot of lazy folks over here. I've had many programs through the years that we've talked about it, and it's true. We just know how many deadbeats are out there, and there are people legitimately that need it, so I'm not down on people that need it. It's for people that don't need it to take advantage of this. That's why we're billions of dollars upside down in this country, and we're paying for all these other loafers that just don't pull their weight. And it brings down our country even more. And so I feel this